Hey, what's going on, Cowboys Nation? So I woke up one day, man. I just had an idea. What if we can track the actual process or how great a draft class was based off of the production they're currently giving us? If they, got an extension or if they fizzled out, never made the team, etc. So I went back and I started looking at the recent drafts, starting with Zeke and Dak's rookie year, and I went all the way up until this current draft class. So we had a first, a second, a third, a fourth, another fourth, a sixth, a sixth, a sixth, and another sixth, all in this draft class. So the first pick was Ezekiel Elliott. So what I wanted to do, how I wanted to grade him, I was going to go from a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star. 3-star would be if they're currently on the team or if they received a second contract after their rookie year and, they're producing at a good level. A 2 would be they're still on the team. Maybe they haven't received an extension because they're still in their rookie season, but they're playing convenient snaps or possibly starting. And a 1 would just be someone that hasn't that's not on the team, or they had a good little run in their rookie contract and then we ended up releasing them, etc. So with that grading scale, I would give Ezekiel Elliott 3 stars. And that's just because, man, if you look at a lot of the running backs that he was compared to that came out maybe a year before him or in that same draft class or a year after him, a lot of those running backs fizzled out. And some of those guys aren't even mentioned as top backs in the league anymore, let alone on their team. And I just think, man, Ezekiel Elliott, he just proves week in, week out how special he is. He's only had one down year, and that was last year when he didn't have an offensive line and when he was the main focal point on an offense that had backup quarterback play. And I just think based off of every aspect of his game, he's gotten better when it comes down to having guys miss, whether it's elusive or a power trait, protecting the quarterback with blocks, and his vision. And even this year, man, I feel like everything that we took for granted, he escalated to a new level, man. So shout out to Zeke, man. Number 2 was Jaylen Smith. So based on my grading scale, he would be 3 stars because I don't think he had the same production level as Zeke, but he was a Pro Bowl player, and he also got a new contract with the Cowboys after his rookie contract. But he's not on the team no more. He was definitely released by the Packers, so I will give him 2.5 stars. Just because he even made it to that point to get a new contract. And I think he played 2 years on this new deal before he was released by our team. And he wasn't terrible. I mean, come on, man. Like we all can justify and say, oh, he played horrible and we don't need him on our team this year or last year. But if you're just looking at every year individually or even collectively, you would say that he had a good career with the Cowboys. Maybe he had one or two. He had maybe one bad year, and then maybe 2 mid years. But the 2 good years he had was some of the best linebacker play that we had in the recent draft on this list. So 2.5 stars for Jaylen Smith. Malik Collins. I like Malik Collins, man. I feel like if it wasn't for the injuries he sustained during his time with us, I think the Cowboys would have basically gave him a new contract. But with him being a prodigy of Oh man, I'm having a brain fart. Marinelli. When Marinelli got a new job, he made sure Malik Collins was right there with him. And Malik Collins was solid. I'm not saying he would have been on this team now, because we have certain players that are performing well at the D tackle position, but just what he brought to our club during that time, man, on the field, he wasn't a scrub. He maybe was an average player, man. So I think I'm gonna give him a 2. Charles Tapper. Now this guy, he had a lot of potential. We gave him a lot of time to develop. He had I think he had one bad injury, and then he had a few here and there, but he never panned out, and we never seen him consistently be one of the best players, or even good enough to even get consistent reps. So I'm gonna give Charles Tapper a 1. And following draft pick of your boy, everybody's favorite number 4, Dak Prescott. Yeah, come on, man. Y'all know I'm gonna say 3. I'm not even gonna spend that much time on it. It's not even close. You know what I mean? I don't want to waste y'all time, man. So I'm gonna say 3, and I'm gonna move on to Anthony Brown. Now, this is a shocker. Anthony Brown played well to get a contract after his rookie year, and he had maybe one bad year or he had one bad year during that new contract, and even on his rookie contract, I feel like he has splash plays. What I would do is I would definitely give him a break due to some of the secondary coaches or the defensive scheme we ran at that time, because as you see now, this year, I think this may be his best year as a Cowboy. I don't know if I'm wrong for saying that. Some of you may disagree, but I think where he's at right now, he's reached he's past the ceiling that we had for him going into this year. So I'm gonna give Anthony Brown a 3. Kevin Fraser. Oh man, this guy was really just a depth guy. He wasn't really someone that we penciled in as a starter. He did go through a career where he had increased snaps for the Cowboys. So I think just based off of that, we can look at him and we can just give him a 1 just based off that situation. And he was a good above average guy on special teams, but he's not on our team anymore, and he never really was a guy that we depended on back in the secondary. Darius Jackson and Rico Gathers, both of those guys to me are 1. Darius Jackson did make the team before, and then he was basically a practice squad guy. So for me, man, I don't think he did anything to receive a 2-star. And the same thing for Rico Gathers. He was basically like a project player. I feel like he was really let down. They didn't really try their best to put him in a situation to succeed. But if you look at the fact that he hasn't been playing on any other team since, I can definitely say that he was just a 1-star guy. All right, and then in the next draft, we seen Taco Charlton was a 1st-round pick. For me, I think just based off of the hype that we give 1st-round picks, especially on the Cowboys, because we're one of those teams that we value drafting. So for us, man, a 1st-round pick is it's a lot of pressure. I don't think Taco Charlton ever lived up to that, and to me, he never was someone we had confidence on bringing him back after his rookie year. So for me, Taco Charlton was a 1-star. And then the following pick was Cheeto. Now for Cheeto, we didn't extend him after his rookie deal, but he was someone that started his rookie year. I believe it was maybe 3 or 4 games into the regular season where we seen him start due to his injury. He was someone that he was an up and down player, I would say. He was very consistent as far as being in the correct position, but he didn't make too many plays on the ball. And I would think that was based, like I said about a previous player and early on in the video, I would just look at the scheme he was in. He wasn't really in the best position based off of his strength, and he's someone that you see on another team and he's making plays. But as far as his tenure with the Cowboys, Cheeto was a 1-star for me. And then the next player that I see was Jordan Lewis. Now, Jordan Lewis, he, based off of the grading scale, he's a 3-star based off the fact that he made it after his rookie deal, and he's still making plays, and he's still on our team to this day. And I don't think it's too many people in Cowboys Nation that are out here trying to get rid of Jordan Lewis. I don't think he was the best that we thought he would be based off of a lot of his college tape, but a lot of it is based on the simple fact that he didn't get the best opportunity because certain coaches or assistant coaches didn't give him the benefit based off of his size. But the type of fight that he brings out on the field and the fact that he's still on this team lets you know the type of guy that he is, man. So for me, Cheeto, 2.5 stars. And the next player we have is Ryan Switzer. This is a special teams guy that I think at one point in time we had him returning kicks on special teams. I don't really remember him making too many plays as a receiver. I do recall him making maybe 2 or 3 catches, to my knowledge. You can fact check that, and you can let that lie however it falls. I'm fine with that. But to me, Ryan Switzer was a 1-star. Next, we have Xavier Woods. This is funny that I'm doing this after the Vikings game, and we seen how valuable he was on Minnesota's defense. But for me, I'm not down on Xavier Woods as far as his overall career with the Cowboys. He did not receive a second contract with us, but I think he kept making he kept going to the next level, or he kept progressing year after year until his last year with us. He kind of like fizzled out, and we didn't see him take that next step. But those years prior, I think most of the Cowboys Nation would agree that we definitely saw potential to keep him on our team. But it was just that last year that made us, kind of disown him. And then if you look at maybe some of the comments he made during that year, it ended bad for him. So for me, man, the fact that he's still on a different team and he's playing right now, I will give Xavier Woods 2 stars. And then we have Marquez White. Now, a lot of us like Marquez White, man. Not so much now, but when he was drafted, and then the whole practice situation, we never really seen him do too much. And to my knowledge, I don't see him on a team or maybe a practice squad. You can fact check that if you believe he's still on the roster right now. But he never really showed us anything to keep him around or keep him on a practice squad. So to me, Marquez White, 1 star. Next we have Joey Ivy. Now this was a pick that, like I said, a lot of us thought, because see, the thing is with the Cowboys Nation, man, once we start drafting you, we already assume that certain coaches like what they saw, man, in college. Excuse me, water break. Drink water, man. For real, man. I feel like water is the best thing to drink. I drink water every day, man. But yeah, no, not too much juice. Definitely not no soda. I don't really even drink juice like that, man. I try to just maintain water, man. Water is the best thing on this earth when it comes to hydration. But to me, man, the fact that Joey Ivy, I think the most we ever got out of him was preseason snaps. So for me, Joey Ivy's a 1-star. And then we have Noah Brown. Oh man, Noah Brown, he's a fun player, man. Like, you, as a Cowboys fan, us that are familiar with him, and he's not an ESPN player. You won't see him on ESPN as much, but the fact that he's still on this team, and then once he got out of this role they have for him as a blocking receiver, we started to see him make strides in his career, and even now he's on our team making plays, man. So for me, Noah Brown, 2 stars. And then we have Jordan Carroll, man. I'm not gonna waste y'all time. I don't really remember too much about him. Oh man, I'm gonna say a 1-star, Jordan Carroll. All right, so next we have LVE, first-round pick. Now, this one, man, I'm kind of actually frustrated with this pick because at one point, well, I think his rookie year, he was an All-Pro. We seen things that he struggled with in his rookie year, but for the most part, a lot of what he did in his rookie year was great football, great energy, consistent play, and we didn't see too much struggle with him. Now, if you look at everything outside that rookie year, I think it was a nosedive. I think injuries plagued his early career with us, and then I don't think LVE is a confident player. I think, man, it's kind of hard, but to me now, I think he struggled with once a blocker has made contact with him and they are engaging in the block, it's hard for him to remove himself from this block, even at his massive capacity. Like, LVE is a big dude, man, and it's like, I don't understand as a player with that physical type. You would think that he would just be impossible to block, but it's not that type of wave that he presents. And then he's not the best in pass coverage. So I think that's why the Cowboys didn't accept that 5th-year option, and then you seen them make a whole new approach in the draft when it came to linebackers in that position, man. So based on the fact that he was what he was in the beginning of his career, it's kind of hard to say he's a 1-star. So to me, man, LVE, 2.5 stars. And the next pick we have was Connor Williams. Now, Connor Williams has basically started every game of his tenure with the Cowboys if he was healthy. He was out there and he was playing. Now, for me, he came into the league as a tackle. We never seen him play tackle, really, if it wasn't like practice or preseason. So we only see him really play guard. And based on that notion, I can't give him 3 stars because he wasn't like most of our offensive line picks, to where once we seen them on the field, we pretty much stapled him in as someone we would deem a cornerstone. He had great he's not. He's definitely not a below average player. I would say he's average, and sometimes he would display he's above average, depending on how comfortable he is. And I think a lot of that was because he had Tyron Smith on the left side, and then he had Frederick on the right side. So now when you see him play with Tyler Biadasz, I think that kind of made him a little bit more responsible, because he's not relying on two Hall of Famers on each side of him. So we've seen him struggle a bit, but I think he's not a player that is horrible. If he's not on the Cowboys next year, he's definitely going to be on some other team. So for me, Connor Williams is 2 stars. Then we have Michael Gallup. Now, Michael Gallup, man, see, for this guy, this is one of my favorite players because of the energy and the type of player he is. We all love Dez Bryant. Like, I believe, I would say 95% of Cowboys Nation was a group of people that enjoyed number 88, Dez Bryant, throwing up the X. A lot of us were maybe hurt when we moved on from him, but when you look at Michael Gallup and his physique, he's not as big as Dez, but he plays like it. He's a guy that he can break tackles as far as yards after catch, and he'll go up and be a red zone threat or a deep ball threat, and he'll go get the ball at his highest point and bring it down. And then, like I said, he was more like Dez Bryant, and it was the big play and the bad play, because Dez had plays where he dropped the ball, and so did Michael Gallup. And I think that's a perfect comp when it comes to Michael Gallup, was someone that is Dez Bryant-like. So with that being said, for me, the same way, if Michael Gallup's not on their team, which I believe he will be, I did a video on why we should bring him back and why we shouldn't play with this whole chemistry thing between Dak Prescott and his weapons. So to me, man, I believe we should keep him. But if he's not on his team next year, I believe he'll be a player on somebody's team, and you'll see him making plays. So to me, Michael Gallup, 2.5 stars. Next, we have Doris Armstrong. Now, Doris Armstrong, man, this is a funny situation, because if you would come into it before this year, if you would ask most Cowboy fans how we feel about DA, a lot of us will say, "Oh, this is his last year. We don't want him on this team." But when you look at, again, it's a lot of players that we seen play poorly with certain schemes, and then once we seen a coach that was better at his job, we seen that coach get great production out of a lot of these players, and I think DA falls under that category. If you look at him this year, man, this is arguably, definitely, I don't think no one will argue this is his best year as a Cowboy. From making a huge jump in QB pressure, sacks, to even becoming a more consistent player in the run game. He's definitely somebody we should bring back. And like I said, if this guy's not on another team, if he's not on this team, you'll see him playing somewhere else. He won't just fizzle out and be a free agent. So for me, Doris Armstrong, 2 stars. Then we have Dolan Schultz. Man, this draft was pretty good, man. This year we didn't do bad. So for me, Dolan Schultz, a lot of us didn't like him early on. I don't say we didn't like him, but we didn't see too much of him, and that was because of the whole Jason Witten thing. We went 1 year without Jason Witten, and they brought him back. And it was just, I think that was the year we didn't have Dak Prescott. So basically for him, he didn't really get to play with Dak and get on the same page and grow that chemistry. And then they brought Jason Witten back the following year, and that just stifled his growth as a tight end. So we didn't really get to see him. But then once Jarwin went out for that year last year, we seen huge dividends when it comes to Dolan Schultz. So if you ask a lot of people that are Cowboy fans, I think most of them would say that they would like to keep Dolan Schultz on this team. So for me, man, based on how he's playing now and how he's gotten better, I believe this year compared to last year, besides those funky plays where he would like almost fumble early on, it's like the same thing happened like 3 times to him early on in that game. I believe that was the Patriots game, if I'm not sure. But to me, man, if Dolan Schultz is not on the Cowboys team, he's on a different team making plays. To me, Dolan Schultz, 2.5 stars. And then we have Mike White. Mike White was someone we didn't really see too much of on our team. He was basically, I think he may have gotten snaps in the regular season maybe once, and I don't think it was anything special. It might have been below average to me. And then we seen him go to the Jets, and he got in the game. I think he started the game, and he had like 400 yards and multiple touchdowns, man. So that right there, and this is present day. This was this season. That right there lets me know that he can't be a 1-star. He didn't do it with us, but he's doing it with somebody else. Now, I'm doing this video after this one game. So if this would have been maybe a later on in the season, and let's say he had 3-4 games under his belt, and a lot of those games where he was playing at a high level, my grade on him may have changed. But right now, based off of what I know about him at this very moment, Mike White, 1.5 stars. Next, we had Chris Covington, man. This is someone I'm not gonna waste your time. He made the roster a lot of times where a lot of us thought he wouldn't or he shouldn't. And I'm not sure whose team he's on at this moment, but to me, Chris Covington, 1 star. And then we have a lot of us are forgetting that Cedric Wilson was a draft pick. And I think, man, from whenever he got opportunities to play, I think he always took advantage of those opportunities and left a great mark on his as far as his name and Cowboys out in the off season, and he made plays during the regular season. So I don't think a lot of us are low on Cedric Wilson. He's a player that is basically allowing or giving fans the reason to move on from Michael Gallup because how great or how good and how consistent he's been. So to me, man, and then even just it seems like every year he raised the stakes a little more and improved his game every time he got the opportunity. So for me, man, Cedric Wilson, 2 stars. And then we have Bo Scarborough, man. I'm not going to waste your time on this guy. He's, I believe he did go to the Lions after his stint with the Cowboys. And to my knowledge, he may be a free agent still. So Bo Scarborough, he had a great college career. But as far as NFL, to me, and with his time on the Cowboys, 1 star. Now, in the following draft, this is the year we traded our first-round pick to get Amari Cooper. So, hey, if you want to look and count that, I'm not going to count it, but 3 stars, Amari Cooper. So, the first pick of this draft, we had Tristan Hill. Tristan Hill is someone that we didn't really get to see too much of him early on because the coach at that time just didn't, whatever they saw in him, they didn't like it. Oh, excuse me. But they didn't like it. So they basically kept him at bay. They kept him in the doghouse. They didn't give him pretty much any opportunities his first year. And then the following year, we see him take a big jump as far as production, and he definitely took advantage of his opportunities. And then basically this year, or even I think the end of last year, or no, he actually got hurt the same game that Dak got hurt. And I think he was out for the season at that moment. But before that, as far as last year, I think, man, he was on pace to have a great, I won't say great, but a more improved year to where he could have been on track to being a staple on the defensive tackle position. But since we had a new coach also, and then he got injured, I think he kind of became a forgotten player. But the fact that he's on his way back this year and he still got time this year to, still make a good name for himself and push that pen a little bit higher, I think he has potential to, be on this team and stay. But since the actual footage and what we've seen from him is kind of low, it's kind of hard for me to give him anything higher than a 1.5 star. Following player, man, Conor Mcgovern. Now, this is kind of like the same issue with some of these players I'm discussing. Now, if you take a poll on if you ask most of Cowboys Nation, what's one offensive line what's one player on the offensive line you would want to see more of and possibly start, I have no doubt about it that the winner of that poll will be Conor Mcgovern, even now with the Collins situation, because I think we all believe Collins will end up making his way back into the starting lineup. But Conor McGovern is like the sixth man. He's like the sixth man in the NBA that that can be a starter, like Manu Ginobili. Remember Ginobili? We all knew that Ginobili can be a starter, and then Popovich just kept him at bay, and they felt like he was better for the team coming off the bench. And this is like the first year where we're even seeing Conor McGovern play that bench role. Because it was like last year and the years prior, he didn't even get snaps unless someone was hurt. But I like what Kellen Moore is doing. He's implementing him into the offense, and he's giving him a role. So I think that's why you see him with that 6-man role. But I think, based on everything we saw and everything we're seeing, because he did play crucial snaps and he started games for us, and I think he was someone that we all enjoy watching. Like I don't think there's nobody down on Conor McGovern. So with all that said, man, it's kind of hard to give him anything below 2 stars, because even if he goes through the rest of this year without starting again, I think this is somebody we're definitely going to see on our team, and I think he has more of a cornerstone swag to him over Connor Williams. So for me, Conor McGovern, 2 stars. Next we have TP, Tony Pollard. He also had like the same type of wave that Conor McGovern was riding. He was on the team. He was making the team, and he just wasn't being used the correct way. We would maybe use him like 2 or 3 times a year, the way we should use him, and then let's go back to feeding Zeke. And I think last year was maybe the first time we started using him consistently, and then this year it's been consistently TP every game. You see him get snaps. The thing is that we don't know how much, as far as contract. I feel like if they wanted to bring TP back and he wanted to be back on the Cowboys, they would get it done. But I'm not sure if that's going to be how it plays out. But with that being said, man, it's hard not to give him 2 stars. So TP, 2 stars. Next, we have Michael Jackson, man. This is someone that we like. A lot of Cowboy fans, they they thought it was certain schools and certain conferences in college that we should start picking from when it comes to drafting. And to my knowledge, this was like maybe one of the first players from Miami that we got in a while. So for me, man, he did go to I think he went to the Lions after his stint with the Cowboys. I'm not sure where he's at now, if he's even in the league. But it's the hype that he had, man. We believed in him, and we wanted this guy on our team, but it just didn't work out that way. But 1 star for me. And then we have the other Miami guy, I believe, Joe Jackson. This guy kind of was the same way, but I think he actually did make the roster one year. But he wasn't a staple. He's not a guy that we believe would be there year in and year out for us. And if he's in the league right now, he's probably making plays. I'm not sure, but I think he was good enough to make our team initially. But he just fizzled out, and it didn't work out. Or we brought in players that took advantage of the opportunity on a higher and more consistent level than Jackson. So to me, man, 1 star. And then we have everybody's favorite, man. I think he might be one of the favorite players out of this draft class, man. Dono, man. Oh man, so I think, man, I think this is what's happening with him. We see a lot of players that's playing safety this year, and they're playing great, and they're playing great consistently. Now, Dono, man, he played last year on his team, and I think what he did favors him. It actually gives him more credibility because he showed out in a system that was average at best. Even below average. You know what I mean? But he was one of the bright spots on the defense that was horrible. So if you give him that same amount of snaps and you give him to one of these coaches now, Al Harris and Dan Quinn, I think he would produce way more and create more big plays and turnovers, man. And I think this is a guy where you will continue to see wearing a Cowboy uniform. So to me, Dono, man, 2.5 stars. Then we have Mike Weber, and Jalen Jokes. I'm not gonna waste your time on them guys, man. Both of them guys is 1 stars to me. Yeah, man, I apologize. This is maybe one of the longest videos. There's no way I can shorten this up. If it's players that I don't have much to say on, I won't even waste your guys' time. I'll just give them the grade. But I feel like that's what I've been doing. So with this draft, man, with the 1st round pick, your boy C.D. Lamb. I'm not gonna waste your guys' time, man. 3 stars. Next pick in this draft, again, same vibe, man. Not gonna waste your time. Trayvon Diggs, 3 stars. Neville Gallimore, man. This might be one of the best drafts when it comes to just everybody, making some type of plays and making some type of splash and giving us good vibes. Neville Gallimore, man, we're waiting on him to come back, but based on everything we've seen from him, he's one of them players that just increased and got better. Now, we didn't see him this year, so we don't know what he's going to do, but it's not because of bad play or something he did negative. It wasn't like a negative smell to him. It was just based off of the injury. I believe if he would have been healthy from day one, some of these guys that you are seeing now making plays at that position, they're not playing because Gallimore would have probably been better than them. Except for maybe Osa. Osa's a beast, man, but I'm not going spoiler alert. But yeah, I think Neville Gallimore, man, everything he's been doing is just he's stapling his name in the cornerstone at that position, man. So I think he got years to come as a Cowboy. 2 stars. And it's not the only reason why it's 2 stars is because of this year. We ain't seen him yet. If he would, it could have possibly been 2.5, maybe 3. But since at this time he hasn't really put anything on film this year, I gave him 2 stars. Then we had Reggie Robinson. Not gonna waste your time on this one. I believe he's still on our team. He's someone that, we had high hopes for, but the past coaches and the past regime, I think it hurt his stock, but he's still on the team, man. So to me, man, 1 star. And we got Tyler B. Oh man, I'm not down on him like everyone else is. This is only his 2nd year starting, and like when he first started as a rookie, I don't think he started the whole year. And then he came into a situation where his left guard wasn't as prominent as it was for Travis Frederick. I believe Frederick started with Ron Leary. And then, so I think it was just that was maybe something that maybe hurt him. But I'm not down on Tyler, man. I think Tyler is an average player. I don't see him as below average. He's definitely showing signs that he needs to work on his game more. But I think if he's not here, he's going to be somewhere else playing. So for that, man, I'm gonna give him 1.5 stars. And we have Anai and Danucci. Both of them, to me, man, just going off of, if I can give something lower than 1, I think Danucci would get that. But since the lowest I can give is 1, I think him and Anai are both 1-star players. Finally, man, this is the last draft class, man. This, like I said, man, I knew this was going to be a long one because we're talking about maybe over 30, 40 players, man. So, hey, it is what it is, man. So with this draft, I think this might be the biggest draft class out of all of the groups that I covered. But for this one, first player, man, Micah Parsons. Come on, man, I'm not gonna waste your time. 3 stars. Next player, Calvin Joseph. Haven't seen pretty much anything from him at this point in time on defense. He was pretty much a player that was injured throughout the preseason, and it took him time to get involved in activities and everything. But once he got there, we started hearing his name a little bit. They started giving him praise as far as the head coaches and assistant coaches, man. So for me, 1.5 stars. Osa is a beast, man, and I want to give this man 3 stars so bad, man. But I think what's really stopping me from giving him the 3 stars is the splash plays. Like, he's popping on the field. Like, if you're watching film or you're watching the game, you're going to see his number. You're going to see his name. The announcers are going to say his name. But he's not getting the fumbles and the sacks and things of that nature, man. So it's kind of hard to give him a 3, but I'm going to give him a 2. And we have Chauncey, man. Chauncey, he came on late, but if you watch him right now or in these last few games, he's a player that's just like Osa. He's actually making a lot of plays in the backfield, tackle for loss, things of that nature. And I think this is a guy we're going to continue to see on the Cowboys roster, and you're going to see him get better year after year after year. It's kind of hard to rate him. I would say maybe a 1.5 star, 2 star. And this is only, like, the reason why I say it's kind of hard is because he was the guy also that I don't think he did anything in preseason. He was pretty much on IR throughout the whole preseason. And then when he got snaps, we were like, oh. And we were just excited to see him play. But since it's like these guys are rookies, so it's kind of hard to, give them a grade based off of a small amount of data. But to me, man, I want to give him 2 stars so bad, man, but he only been playing about 3 games, 4 games at the most. 1.5 star Chauncey. So like a lot of these guys, like I said, this video was done maybe later on in the season, or if these guys played more, like if Chauncey didn't have any injuries, I would have more data or more snaps that he played, and then I can give him maybe that 2 he probably deserves. But just with that small amount of playing time, I can't really give him a 2, man. Sorry. All right, so then we have No Sean. No Sean. If this was strictly preseason, I would have a hard time not giving this man a 3. But strictly off a regular season, we haven't seen him. But just what he's done in preseason and with the projection based off of probability as far as his potential, and then the hands of Dan Quinn and Al Harris and what they have done with him, 1 star or 1.5 star actually. Then we have Jabril Cox. Jabril Cox, man. Based off of what we seen from him with that play from the Giants game, where he basically did something like the old Jaylen Smith when he made a great play on Deshaun Watson at Texans game. This was pretty much the same thing. Jabril Cox, I got the same energy, the same passion, the same vibes when Cox made that play, man. So for me, he went out with the injury towards ACL, so speedy recovery. But just based on the potential and the projection, and what he made plays in the preseason. So I can if he wasn't hurt and he played more in the regular season, I would have gave him the 2 stars. But since he didn't really play too much in the regular season, but he had great film to watch in the preseason, man, 1.5 stars. Jabril Cox. Simi, not going to waste your time on him. 1 star. Bohanna, man, this guy is definitely the type of guy you want as far as physique on your team. And this is a guy that we didn't even think was going to play as much as he's playing, and he's doing a hell of a job. Like, he's playing great, and he's doing his job. You'll see him in the middle clogging, holding up them blocks, getting 2 blocks, and fighting through the double team. I like Bohanna, man. I think the energy and the fight that he brings at that position, man, it was something that was needed, and it's coming from a young guy, man. So for me, 1.5 stars. I'm not going to waste your time on the last 2, Israel and Fournier. Both of them guys, to me, 1 stars. All right, so basically what prompted me to do this type of video was because of the situation with Michael Gallup, where a lot of people were saying we can replace Michael Gallup in the draft and move on from him in free agency. Now, I think it's easier to build in the defense in the draft than it is offensively. Like, so what I did was I totaled all the points for based off the grades. The offense lost. The offense totaled 40 points. The defense totaled 47.5 points. And then when I combined all the 3 stars, offense had 4 3 stars throughout those drafts, in my opinion, and the defense had 3 stars, or 3 stars. And then 2 stars or more, which would include 2.5 stars. Offense total 8, defense total 7. Now, the good thing about this is that the last draft class with Osa and all those guys, a lot of those guys have the potential to become 2.5, 3 stars. So that would just give you more comfortability as far as drafting on the defense side of the ball. So for me, man, I think basically what this video is showing that right now, we draft better on defense, even though we have a higher ceiling on offense. But just the overall aspect of it, the Cowboys draft better on defense, and a lot of the more of the best players, including, I'm just going off of these last 6 draft classes. Out of those 6 draft classes, we have more talent on defense. So for me, man, this is just boils back to the video with Gallup. Keep Gallup, keep drafting, and keep building this defense. We pay guys on our offense, keep paying guys on offense, and use the draft to fill in and bring in great talent, man. Thank y'all for tuning in for this long video, man. Y'all have a good one.